Are you loading into Anime Apocalypse and wondering which abilities, gadgets, items, pets, and traits are best for use? Well, in today's video, I'm going to cover all of that. Starting with survival, we're going to cover first which ability is best to use. As you can see, I have the spin ability equipped. Right now, in my opinion, and most others actually, it really is the best ability in the game. Um, all of its moves, which I made a video on, all of its moves are insanely good with range, at least most of them in that case, AoE, and damage. They are very fastly recharging, and they are really great for survival because in survival, you don't, even if it didn't have damage, the AoE is perfect for survival. You don't need much damage, but you do need enough to kill a whole swarm of all the enemies. Getting into gadgets, right now the best gadget is Black Hole. What it does, as you can see right here, it creates a black hole that pulls in and damages enemies. The damage is pretty good, at least it's good enough for all the base enemies like zombies, the samurai zombies, all of that. It also is fast recharging. Really, every ability is fast recharging, but this one is the best by far. The only one that comes close is really Infinity or Conqueror's Hockey because they can't damage you with Infinity. And for Conqueror's Hockey, you just knock them out and they can't even move. But if you have enough lucky spins, normal spins, you can try to get Black Hole, and that's by far the best. Now, the best pets are debatable. Right now, I'm using Colossus Titan and Egress because I'm trying to get my prestiges up. As you can see, I'm only Prestige 1, level 44. But other people have suggested using the Colossus Titan and the Muscle Titan, I believe it's called. Um, Basically, Egress is just like for XP and lifesteal and all that. But otherwise, using really Colossal Titan or Colossus Titan, Egress or Colossus Titan, and Muscle Titan would be okay. It really doesn't affect that much besides XP. Now for traits, the best two traits in the game are Reaper and Flash. As you can see, Reaper does 35% damage, 10% attack speed, plus 3 walk speed, 10% cooldown reduction, 7% coins, 7 XP, 5% lifesteal, and 40 HP. Otherwise, Flash does 20% damage, 25% attack speed, 7 walk speed, 20% cooldown reduction, 7% coins, 7 XP, 5% lifesteal, and 40 HP as well. Um, Both of these are really good. People have said that Flash is better, and I'll just take their word for it. But I, on Saiyan, use Reaper because I got it. But on Spin, I'm using Zombie, which is a great alternative if you can't get Reaper or Flash because it has the 5% lifesteal and the 20 extra HP, which is very useful, especially in other game modes. But we'll get into that later. Um, Now I'm gonna get into items. This is basically just universal. The ones I'm using right now is let's see, Golden Racer, which you get from the Wild West raid. It's really easy to get actually. If you can't get it with the 10% chance at getting it during the raid, you can save up. I believe it's 850 Wild West tokens. Yeah, 850 Wild West tokens to just buy it outright, and you'll just have it. And then I'm using ODM gear from the new Attack on Titan update. And everything I've said so far, like Black Hole, Spin, all the items, pets, traits, using it for the new Attack on Titan game mode as well as survival works both ways. Both of survival and Attack on Titan are really just the same thing. Attack on Titan is just a different like type of game mode, if you get what I mean. But there is better equipment. I just haven't been able to grind enough to get the battle suit from the new Attack on Titan update. It's actually, I believe, the best thing in the game. That's what I've been told, and that's what I've seen everywhere from people who are way better than me at this game. But saying all that, I'm gonna get into a survival game, and I'll show y'all all the abilities, gadgets, and yeah. Alright guys, for this survival run, I'm gonna be doing it in Shibuya because Shibuya is just my personal favorite. I watch JJK, and it's just, I believe it's nicer. It's not really easier, it's just cooler in my opinion. So first we're gonna show Bowling Strike. As you can see, spin, the Bowling Strike move has great range. It went from here to all the way to the fence, which is enough to clear out at least one of the swarm of enemies. Now we're going to use Golden Ratio. As you can see, I used it all the way from the first exit, or the second exit, and it went all the way to the halfway of the third exit, so that's great for range. Now, this is the last ones. I'm going to use the third move, Ball Breaker. I don't know why the effects didn't play, but the range is decent. It's really good for like little swarms, especially if they have a lot of health. Alright, and now I'm going to show off the Black Hole ability. Here we go. Right, find a swarm. Use the Black Hole ability. It brings them all in. Does enough damage to kill all of them. As you can see, it went from all the way over here, but it did leave this one. It did a great amount of damage. Like, it's more than enough to kill the whole swarm. It brought all of them in, and it did its job.
Brother, this guy stinks!
Really, in survival, you never die. It's really easy. But if you do die, that's why having Saiyan is really good. Because even if you don't get the extra lives, you can just have a free one. People make the argument that it's not really needed, but I think it's just something good to keep in case of, like, you make a mistake, you forget to manage your move cooldowns. But really, it's about skill and just having your moves. See, I didn't have any abilities use, and I just used Black Hole to kill all of them except for one. And that's the survival part. Now we're gonna get into raids. Alright, now we're gonna be getting into raids. I'm gonna be showing y'all adjustments I make to do my raids. There are some changes, but really it stays mostly the same, since all the best things in the game are objectively the best for everything. So really just is preference at this point, but there are a few things that make it way easier. First, starting off with the ability, once again we're going to be using Spin. Spin is by far the best ability in the game, as I've said previously. It really has the best damage, AoE, and just all the moves are very fast cooldown, also, like I've said. But now getting into gadgets, we're going to leave Black Hole to go to Rage. Now, most people are thinking, whoa, Rage is an epic. It's with Beacon Taunt, one of the worst, if not the worst, gadget in the game. But that's where everybody gets it wrong. Rage increases your damage and speed by a lot. Like, even if you have a low damaging ability, like, let's just say Nin Prodigy, Sasuke, even something like Pride, which is already good on its own, you'd be doing as good as somebody with regular Saiyan that doesn't have that gadget, because it's such a influential gadget to your raid runs and can be so much help, especially when you have a low damaging ability. But when you pair it with an ability like Spin, which has high damage and high AoE, it really just makes the raid so much easier and faster. Now, getting back into traits, as I've said before, Reaper and Flash, whichever one you feel like using. They're both really good with the lifesteal, the damage, the attack speed. All of that's great. So that's it for traits. Now for pets, it's also the same. There's only 3 main good pets in the game. Colossus Titan, Egress, and the Muscle Titan, if I'm still saying that right. Um, Items, once again, it's the same. Really, everything is the same except for the gadget. Gotta just claim some quests. But yeah, everything's really the same for the gadgets. Everything's just the same for the abilities and the pets and the traits and the items, but the gadgets just change because Rage is objectively better for the raids. Now we're going to hop into a raid, and I'm going to show y'all how fast it goes, even without Reaper or Flash, because I'm using Zombie right now. And as I've said, Zombie's a great alternative. Alright, one little tip for y'all. Where I'm standing is right where the boss spawns, so if you want to just get like some slight extra damage in, it works. So you want to start out dodging his first attack. See, I already have my ultimate. Raid right before you get that damage in. What you really want to focus on is not letting him use his ultimate on you, because his ultimate will be a one-shot kill. But as you can see, I'm just spamming my ultimate, which does, I believe, 6,000 damage every time. With all that. Once again, I already have my ultimate back. Also, make sure, as I've said, to always be using Rage before your ultimates, because they do so much more damage with Rage. One thing I've noticed is that even if I don't move out the way of his abilities, as long as it's not his ultimate, I really just don't lose any health because of lifesteal, especially with Egress, Colossus Titan, and Zombie, or Reaper and Flash, if that's what you have. That's an extra something like 70% of lifesteal, which is enough to get back all of your health. And as you can see, I beat the boss in 1 minute and 35 seconds, which is a somewhat fast time. But now we're going to get into Infinite. Alright guys, now we're going to be hopping into Infinite mode. One thing I have to say about Infinite mode is that really it does not get harder at all. Like, if you want to spend the time to try to get on Top Wave's leaderboard, you can get this. It takes at least a couple of hours, if not more, to get on the top of the leaderboard. But it's really doable, especially with Spin. Once again, it's the best ability for all of the game modes as of right now. But also, one thing you need to realize with Infinite mode is that you always want to make sure that you have an extra life, because you don't want to be trying to go for the 50 rounds to get Infinite Champion and then just die right before because you make a mistake. Infinite mode, as I've said, is easy, but in this game, if you make one mistake without an extra life, you can die and just reset all your progress. So you want to either have Saiyan as a second ability, as you can see I have it right here, or you want to be getting stacked up on extra lives. The gadget we're going to be using for Infinite, though, is once again Black Hole. Black Hole and Rage are the 2 best abilities in the game. Alright, now for the items. Once again, it's all the same. You want Battle Suit or Golden Racer and ODM gear. For traits, once again, you want Reaper and Flash. And for pets, Colossus Titan, Egress, and Muscle Titan. Now we're going to hop into an Infinite mode, and I'm going to get to 50 waves. Okay, getting into infinite mode. Um, as you can see, I'm in Shibuya. I think Shibuya is just better. Like I've said, I just like it more. Most people do Shibuya, but some people do Impel Down. Does not really matter. But one thing you want to do for Infinite is kind of wait a little bit to get all the enemies, so you don't waste moves. Because the last thing you want to do is waste your moves after uh, getting high up in the waves and then not have a move and then get killed. Now for your ultimate, you really want to save it for the boss waves because it just gets rid of the boss faster. Like right here, as soon as they spawn, I'm going to use one of my non-ultimate abilities, and then once the boss spawns, I'm going to use my ability. I'm going to use my ultimate. Alright guys, and just like that, I made it to wave 50. Doing everything I told y'all before, using spin, black hole as a second option as a move, using all the pets, and golden racer and ODM gear. Alright guys, that's going to wrap it up for today's video. But just before, as a recap, for every game mode, you want to be using spin as it's the best style. For gadget, you want to be using rage for raids and black hole for everything else. For items, you want to be using battle suit, golden racer, ODM gear. For traits, you want to be using reaper and flash. And for pets, you want to be using Colossus Titan, Egress, and the Muscle Titan. Thanks everybody for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.